Priest, and other members of the Judiciary Committee. I know how exhausted you all are. I've been here for 11 hours, so I'll try and keep my response succinct, but I also think what I have to say is important. My name is Jacob Weber, and I'm a 17-year-old high school junior at North Yarmouth Academy. I've lived in Wayne, Maine, about 25 minutes west of here, all of my life, with my loving father and mother, as well as my 3 older siblings. And I stand here before you today to voice my wholehearted support for LD 1020. I wanted to start with a brief story that I think is a great example of the feelings felt by some in this present debate. Last summer, I was working on a renovation project with a childhood friend who I hadn't seen for years. And of course, while we were working, we were able to talk. And it being last summer, the upcoming presidential debate was, of course, the major discussion point. And I think it's fair to say that we had polar opposite views of the candidates and their positions. When I brought up the subject of same-sex marriage with him, immediately the first thing I noticed was a grimace across his face. And at first he responded to me awkwardly, but then vehemently. But you could tell that he was clearly uncomfortable with the subject. He said to me that he couldn't understand it. It didn't make any sense to him. He asserted that he certainly did not have those feelings himself. So, what must be wrong with the gays and lesbians? Finally, he concluded that they were fine just as long as they didn't affect him. This reaction, discomfort, I think is very reflective of, unfortunately, a large number of heterosexuals in Maine and in the United States. His reaction reflects the current debate over same-sex marriage and whether it should be allowed under Maine law. Some people are understandably not happy with the idea. They're uncomfortable. It's something that's not the norm for them, and it's something that's difficult to imagine. But this gut reaction, this immediate discomfort with the subject, it's not at all sufficient justification to deny our fellow citizens their right as Americans and their right as human beings. Nor is it sufficient to kid ourselves and say that calling it a civil union is just as good. Separate but equal is by definition not equal. While it may be hard to understand, the feelings of love many feel for members of the opposite sex can and do exist between members of the same. Or that love is somehow not as powerful or as passionate as a heterosexual relationship. I'm standing here to tell you that it is. I've seen it in the eyes of my gay and lesbian friends, and the couples that I've seen here today, waiting. We're all equal, and we should be seen as such in the eyes of the law, with no exceptions. Just because we ourselves may not feel it or can't imagine ourselves in a situation is no justification for maintaining inequality in Maine, or anywhere else for that matter.
Mr. Weber, can I ask you to wrap up, please?
We're all equal, regardless of gender, regardless of sexual orientation, and we should not discriminate by granting marital status on that basis. That's why LD 1020 is so important to so many people and why it should be passed. Thank you very much.